Hello everyone. I welcome all of you to Direction Institute for IAS, which is oriented towards helping you in achieving all your cherished dreams. For the flying start of your career, we always advise you to join the Direction Squad. Our motive always is to make you utilize maximum of your potential in minimum possible time. And we have been proving it with our consistent efforts for last more than 20 years. In this hard times of pandemic, we are very prominently modifying our approach not just towards day-to-day activity, but also towards the competitive examination preparation, keeping an eye on the precise conditions that we are into, trying to make out best of the worst scenario that is there around us. I want to announce the online programs that we will be launching from this year onwards. It includes online regular geography optional classes, online test series program, online map test series program, and a specifically planned consistent synthesis training program for the students who want to groom up their writing skills, though are confident of their understanding of the content very well. So when we try to plan out the strategy towards development of writing skills, test series program, CSTP, and of course the online optional classes all helps us. But what is the reason that we have got these different programs is that requirement of students varies from one point to the other. Like I might be having geography as my parent discipline, but I don't know how to proceed with comprehension of questions and thereby making relevant answer to attain desirable marks. In that case, you are advised to follow writing skills practices. As the new schedule has been announced, you need to take care of a revamping strategy, and that revamping strategy has to be with maximum possibilities of at-home amenities. I welcome all of you to this center which is dedicated to attain excellence, however being rooted with the fundamentals of the discipline. Because whenever you are having the possibilities of growth, you need to understand that that possibilities comes up from the roots. Foundations if are strong, you can reach the sky. If foundations are not strong, sweeping off your feet is likely to make you fall in due course of time. You have to take a very intelligent, you have to take a very cautious kind of decisions in these hard times. I have been encountering queries from all of you, and all of you are worried about how to proceed. I am dedicating this video basically to give you a very logically planned out strategy, because if we are taking our new prelims date, which is on 4th of October 2020, and we are in the first week of June, so precisely speaking, we are still approximately 4 months away from prelims. And we have been preparing for prelims examination for quite long now. So what should I do with these 4 months? Should I stick up to my prelims preparation, or should I devote this time towards preparing the main? Because ultimately after prelims examination, when we take the new schedule into account, 8th January 2021, you will have your main examination commencing. That means all in all, after prelims, you will have some 3 months in your hand. So logically speaking, because we have been preparing for our prelims examination, which was supposed to be held by 31st May, so we are more or less well prepared with it. It will not take a side track, but it has to be with main preparation as well. That is the reason the planned out programs is for us to decide What exactly is our strategy? 4 months, I'll be well done with my main curriculum if I'm not aware of the content matter, and also in 4 months, I'll be very well increasing, grooming, improving my writing skills if I'm already done with the content of geography. This is how we want to start with our preparation. So to begin with, I want to first refer some of the important planning strategies, some important reference books before we take a sample case study for us to convince ourselves how we are different. Is the discipline of synthesis that takes into account both static and the dynamic aspects. Precisely everything happening around us has to relate to geography optional, and that is what we should create as our strength while preparing this optional, and mind it, even while preparing geography for general studies. Talking about optional for the time being, when I talk about optional geography, we all know that the syllabus is divided into 2 parts. Paper 1 and paper 2, geography of world and India. But as I say that geography is discipline of synthesis, the best way to prepare it is physical geography and human geography. And this is the best way to integrate paper 1 and 2, because it is all the difference about scale. And we have been noticing that in main examination in paper 1, which is supposed to be world geography, we are encountered with the questions which is specifically dedicated to Indian context. Like we had a question on urban floods in context of Mumbai. So it's a very difficult thing for us to draw a boundary line, and thus we have to remold our strategy of preparation. So physical geography is basically the study of spheres of our environment. Lithosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, atmosphere, all these are divided into 5 standard topics, and then we also have physical setting of India. Are they absolutely static topics? Not at all. The most important deviation is environment geography, which incorporate all the dynamic aspects that you can think about. Human geography is essentially dynamic, and I am nowhere wrong saying it is 50:50 ratio that I see in my question paper. I will be talking about one sample case today. When you see the type of questions that have been asked in examination, creating a standard boundary line that this question is from physical geography and no, this question is from human geography becomes essentially difficult. And many examples can be applied there, but if we take reference of say geomorphology as one example, in 2019 main there was a question asked, the impact of floods on life and property can be most effectively reduced by hazard mapping. Now if I am talking about hazard mapping, I am talking about environment, and if I am talking about risk of life and property, I am talking about humans, because when we talk about human population, hazard is all correlated to human resilience. Where do I categorize it? It becomes very difficult for me to draw a boundary line. So both the portions are equally important, and it will be wrong for us to say that we can be selective. In human geography, the essential segments includes demography, settlement, economic geography, divided into agriculture geography, industrial geography, trade, transport and communication geography. Then you have regional geography and political geography. Where do I fit in the topic that is considered to be the difficult topic of our syllabus? It basically is the genesis of geography as the discipline. So when I talk about thought, I am essentially talking about how geography as a discipline evolved. What are the important aspects that I correlate with geography and geographical study? So you have to pick up this orientation of integrating paper 1 and 2, integrating physical and human geography and that is how your preparation for geography optional is best charted out. We don't target any number of questions here. Our orientation is to prepare both topic wise answer writing practice as well as a comprehensive test. It will be designed so that you are covering a part of it before your prelims examination and essentially giving you revision after your prelims examination. A part of test series called Special Mains Training Program is absolutely dedicated program which always start after the declaration of prelims result. It is to give you the timely revision of content with very important expected questions. And mind it, it is not self-praising, but you can have a look of the test series programs that we have been running for last few years. Expected questions in slight mold of language have been appearing in the UPSC main examination and have been excellently helpful to the students. Apart from it, we have got CSTP, which I talked about earlier also. It is a full year program and it is oriented towards giving you a gradual, sequential coverage of content, answer writing skill, comprehension of the questions and every other thing. So you can have the selection of any one of these. CSTP full year program is inclusive of online map test also. Map test by default is included in test series and special mains training program. I must add here that the optional classes is inclusive of all the test programs that I have just mentioned here. Whenever you are preparing something, you need to prepare it as per the requirement of examination, and examination requirement essentially talks about what is the way I can frame up the answer to the asked question, and that is where we take the account of preparation strategy as well. So these are the programs that we have. The details of each program, the entire schedule of the program and the dedicated videos on each program will be coming one by one in the gradual sequence. I'll again advise you to do subscribe the YouTube channel so that you are not missing out on anything that is being uploaded, even if you have done classes, because geography is something which is dynamic and is never complete with single go. Now I want to devote a time towards something very specific as a topic so that we can understand how do we proceed with it. Now if I take my sample case of geomorphology planner, the fundamental most topic number 1 of our optional syllabus, the units that we divide our study into is endogenetic theories and of course the concepts with the important forces that are applicable, the exogenetic forces and altogether the references of it. And when we talk about the categories that are divided, so it comes out to be 1, I study the theories that are divided into endogenetic and exogenetic, and then I study the forces that are correlated to it. These 4 sections cover more than 95% of our syllabus. And the details of the topics are being charted out, which helps us in understanding the content matter well. Mountain building views, you have got big range of mountain building views that you need to be aware of. So you take that into account. Similarly, when I talk about these forces, so I've got volcanism, earthquake, geosyncline, which goes with mountain building, deformation, which again correlates with mountain building approaches, folding and faulting. So this way the things gets organized. And if I have to take the understanding of it, there are certain assignment questions that we follow with each one of them. Like I have learned the concept and I'm taking the tectonic activities at convergent plate boundary as 20 marker question for you to write. You have understood certain thing, can you write the answer to it? So that is the way we take the study plan. The 5th section that accounts for, I'll say, not more than 5% of the total syllabus is applied geomorphology, from where I referred the question of 2019. It is all about application of geomorphology in any sort of planning. And when I say any sort of planning, hazard management, syllabus do reads geohydrology, economic geology and environment. Because when I read the questions which is asking me to talk about how the structure influences the resource distribution, I am applying my knowledge of geomorphology. Every planner of every topic is being organized like this. Like what has been the questions that have been asked from each of the topic, because in organizing it, we try to become much more broader. So endogenetic from 1992, which type of questions have been asked? Hypothesis of Alfred Wegener, products that are the landform that are products of endogenetic forces. So you can keep on taking them. Cobard's geosynclinal concept of mountain building 2018 question have been quite interesting one, because we correlate it with Arthur Holmes precisely to justify the validity of this concept. Hidden topics of our syllabus. Discuss the methods of measuring intensity and magnitude of earthquake and how the seismic zones are demarcated. Intensity, magnitude. Generally treated to be the synonym terms, they are not. Mercalli and Richter scale, and I need to give examiner the demarcation of them. Exogenetic forces. Exogenetic forces as our category 2 incorporate the questions that I talked about. Like take what is base level and concept type of base level. There is no mention of base level in our syllabus, but base level precisely comes up as the most important for the levelers, and all the exogenetic forces basically are examples of levelers. So it comes up as I am preparing something, so I need to be aware of the things that is correlated. This was an interesting question that was asked in year 2015. Discuss the contribution of American School of Subaerial Denudation. American School includes Davis, American School includes Gilbert, Small. I need to apply the understanding of their contribution in geomorphology. It doesn't come direct with the syllabus. It asks us to get into the detailed viewpoint of it. And within this, we have incorporated the applicable part also, like climate, slope, gradient and rock structure influence evolution of channels. Now, when I talk about climate, slope, gradient, rock structure, climate is climatology. And climatic controlled agents are also there that we can take into account when we try to study them. So this can be integrated. And this question I talked about, this was the question that I talked about in the beginning. Can I demarcate it to be an absolute physical or absolute human geographical question? No, it is not possible. So there is a clear point of integration. Every study that will take will start with a planner and will conclude with the question analysis, of examination. This gives you confidence of what is the way we are proceeding. Now, to further prove my point, I want you to notice this. This is a sample model answer of first test that I conducted for the 2020 main examination, for which we are also targeting the things. I just want you to have a look of what is the way we chart out the model answer. And when I say it is by me, it essentially is by me, %. And just take a look on it. I asked the question, it is absolutely on examination format, needless to say. I asked the question of 150 words, question 1A, write brief account of evolution phases of Earth's crust. Examiner gives you 1.5 to 2 pages to write this answer, and this answer is written by me and right there in the same space that you get in. Evolution phases of Earth's crust includes differentiation, cratering, because this gives you confidence that yes, I can write the answer in the prescribed time and prescribed space. Flooding, surface evolution. The next question was reading, briefly describe Inselberg and Bonhart. Now when you talk about these two terms in a general purpose go, you say both of them are synonym. Yes, more or less they are, but still there is the difference. The Inselberg is absolutely the outcome of erosion process, and for these to develop there is requirement of pronounced variation in the levels of weathering. The massive Inselberg is referred to as Bonhart. A Bonhart mostly occurs in arid, semi-arid region and rises more abruptly than Inselberg. Now this requires you to be aware of the things, and when you are aware of the things, you can actually do justice to the requirement of the question. What I am trying to say is that if you need to understand and comprehend the requirement of examination, wherever you are having doubt, you require an expertise support, and that support cannot be divided in sense that someone else is teaching you, someone else is creating questions, someone else is evaluating, someone else is giving you model answer. There will be a sheer absence of compatibility, and that takes toll to your attempt of answer writing. I am not saying I write every answer. I normally write short length answer. If I just quickly scroll down, I do incorporate diagrams, as you can see, just to give you confidence that yes, I can write the answer and I can draw the diagram in the required time and space. See the question on tsunami, there are two diagrams that I have added in the answer. I don't write every answer, as I said, to prove it. Yes, this is the printed part, but it is a lengthy question. The question was reading component of historical geomorphology and process geomorphology, and I have got answer concluded within 2.5 pages. Elaborate on the observation of Fredwine and Matthews in facilitating seafloor splitting. This is how we go. And if I continue to scroll down with my first sample paper, I'll be talking about many more as we'll be proceeding. I just want to get to few more of the without handwritten, but with diagram you can easily see the Joule-Strom curve diagram. And it is not just that you get model answer to it, you get the discussion, and the complete discussion video do helps you in reading and better comprehension of the question. And because it is single-handedly managed, you are getting a better feedback, you are getting a better orientation that will make you stand aloof from the crowd. Here begins my handwritten. And are you noticing, which I just said few minutes back, integration, and we have got integration in test 1 of river regimes in India. So I am talking about river regimes, but I am talking about India. This is where we take the integration. Upload your answer, I evaluate your answer, I demarcate the positive and the negative points for your study, and then you are being given evaluation. You are being given evaluation that helps you in proceeding with your approach of study. Abrasional and residual feature developed by glacier activity. Abrasional, all of us readily talk about. Residual, which is left behind. And residual actually includes pyramidical peak, erect. This is a sample test paper. I give you items, give you space to mark it, and then you are supposed to take the reference of map marking on the adjoining page. Items at the first go seems very difficult. This is an attempted sheet. Pangsu Pass, Lusai Hills, Doaba, Chamba, Jampui Hills, Chin Hills. But are they absolutely non-manageable? No, they are not. Simply requires practice. And mind it, practice in integration to content. Neither the content is complete without map, nor the map is complete without content. You have to actually take the account of integration of both of them. Without that, it is impossible. You cannot actually take into reference the study. Want to conclude on this slide that I have already utilized in one of the videos when I was introducing you to geography. What is geography? Geography is the study of world's environment and man's interaction within the environment. And that is the reason geography has two parts, physical geography and human geography. This is the best way to study it. Physical geography with both paper 1 and paper 2, and human geography equally important, has to be referred with 5 defined aspects of geography. Geography is a study of location. Geography is a study of region. Geography is a study of place. Geography is a study of man-environment relation. And geography is the study of movement. You can see one of the videos that I have uploaded on geography and geographical perspective, because if I don't take this perspective, I won't be convincing geographer to give me the desired marks. You have to take a geographical perspective to attain good marks in geography. It was just a snippet that I wanted to give you in this video. All the programs that I mentioned will have the dedicated videos coming one by one. And I'll also be uploading the details of online classes, its enrollment. Don't be in the panic mode anyhow. Take a rational decision, scavenge out and then decide. I'll now take you to the reference of certain important textbooks that you must take when it comes to your geography optional and geography general studies. These textbooks are the elementary reads and are considered to be the significant most to create the foundation. A general confusion that we always face when it comes to the reference book for the civil services preparation. We all claim that this and notes and this study material is precisely sufficient for me to glide through this examination. I'll say no. There are certain fundamental texts which are a must read whichsoever classes you are enrolled in. And if you are advised not to do so, you are not being advised correctly. Because gone those days when we had direct orientation of the questions, now we are encountered with the questions which are more trickier, which is asking us to develop the integrative approach of the content. And in that perspective, it becomes difficult if I have been selective with my sources of preparation. So quickly giving you not the images but the textbook itself, I have always been one of the very strongest supporter of NCERTs. NCERT is divided into 2 sections, physical and human geography. It is in 11th class that we have got physical geography. So India, physical environment. I have been uploading the videos all together when it comes to the reference of important chapters to it. You can easily see it in my YouTube videos. Almost every important chapter I have already covered with support of other diagrams and images. So textbook number 1, India Physical Environment 11th Standard. Text number 2, the Physical Principles of Geography. This textbook is the textbook that is required in combination to the earlier one, not just for your geography optional, but also for your general studies preparation. For this also, I have uploaded several videos covering almost every important chapter, so you can take reference of them. The other 2 textbooks are the textbooks on human geography for 12th standard. The first is India, People and Economy. Whenever it comes to human geography, we need to understand that maximum of the data gets modified on an annual basis. Agriculture, planning or areas of resource availability, the approach with which we are taking the mining, like we have got a big modification that has been there in the coal sector. So this textbook is not absolute reference, but do gives us the basic account of study. So this is a must textbook number 3. The textbook number 4, I have got the older version for it. It is also Human Geography 12th Standard. It reads Fundamentals of Human Geography. Again, a fundamental text. I'll very clearly say updation is required even for this textbook, but some of the elementary things are quite crucial for us to be aware of, whether it is for optional or it is for general studies purpose. That is the reason I have again uploaded several videos of the chapters covering this particular textbook also. So 4 textbooks must read for you for your geography preparation, irrespective of optional or general study. Now when I come on to optional specific requirement, it's a must atlas for all of you. Whenever I say Oxford Atlas, it comes out to be somewhere misleading. I do understand more student friendly and precisely easier for newcomers. Most of us feel a dreaded kind of a feeling when it comes to map items. And when we are beginners, we want something easier. And in that perspective, Orient Black Swan School Atlas is largely cherished. I do agree. But that school atlas do not cater, and I repeat, do not cater your requirement for the optional map question which comes from this atlas. Because this atlas has got dedicated maps, physical as well as political, when it comes to all the states, including districts. And that is what we require when it comes to map items marking. So a must for the optional students when you are taking map oriented approach with a map question as a compulsory question. Proceeding further with the compulsory text for the optional students. Now I am not talking about general studies students. I have got the standard textbooks, very popularly referred and very popularly talked about by the students, and you need to be, it is as important as reading and learning, precisely learning, so much so that interpretation of everything written in between lines is also there in our mind. So I start with physical geography. This is physical geography, Rupa Made Simple, popularly referred by geography optional students as Rupa Made Simple Part 1, must read along with NCERT for the optional students. And similarly, economic and social geography, again Rupa Made Simple, it's Part 2. These two textbooks are equally important as your NCERT. You cannot miss them on. And if you are missing them, you are not with your right track of preparation. Take my word, extremely cautiously and seriously. Because when we talk about preparing something, when I become confident about a particular topic, I am at upper edge to express my view. And in order to generate that confidence with all the foundation of geography, you require these textbooks. Now, there are two more textbooks which I have started adding in the must read category for the students of geography optional. Must read category for geography optionals includes, number one, it is the physical geography in diagrams. Physical geography in diagrams by Bennett. This textbook is quite in compatibility to Gochi Leong, which you commonly refer for your general studies purpose also. What is the purpose of reading this textbook? In lieu of Gochi Leong, I'll not say completely because it is only physical geography. Gochi Leong do covers the economic part also. Is that the diagrams that I get from this textbook is excellent, easy to comprehend and easy to make. And like every other thing, if I am in practice with diagrams, I am in a better position of drawing it without wasting much time. So you need to take this as a must read to your list. And finally, taking human geography and one of the section that has been majorly hyped about, the section that has been always a problem task for the students to prepare, largely because most of you who decide geography as your optional are coming from non-humanities background, and anything that is oriented towards thinkers and their viewpoints becomes difficult. And for this, the textbook entitled Fundamentals of Geographical Thought, it is authored by Sudipta Adhikari. It's a must read. There is many substitutes which are available, like Geographical Thought by Majid Hussain also. I am not saying that those textbooks are irrelevant, but I am saying that the textbooks will be relevant in accordance to the available syllabus. Now be very clearly informed, it's wrong, it's myth, it's largely given to us because possibly we don't understand the foundation of it. When we read our syllabus is nowhere focusing on the requirement for me to be aware of Greek scholars or Roman scholars or Arab scholars. But the point that comes in is, from where do I see the beginning of anything that is mentioned in my syllabus? From where do I see the beginning of cognitive studies, mental images, determinism, teleological approach? It comes from prehistoric ideas. So from that perspective, Geographical Thought by Majid Hussain is a good textbook, but because my syllabus is not asking me to be aware of contribution of Homer or contribution of Thales or Anaximander, or for that matter, other Roman scholars like Ptolemy or Strabo, I don't need to get into those details, but I need to be aware of those details. And that is where the role of coaching centers comes in, where you need to get a right direction of preparation. Otherwise, geography is the optional, where for every topic you have got so many books that every second day a new geographer is evolving in the market. So you need to take understanding of preparation strategies very well. This is the textbook, and it is now much more relevant than any other textbook from the examination perspective. The coverage of applicable topics is such excellently given that if you read it, you will make sense with what are being taught in class when it comes to geographical thought. So I advise you to include these texts irrespective of what is your sources of preparation, and then proceed with your preparation strategies. After talked about with the fundamental text that I have just spoken, you need to understand that these textbooks are what creates foundation. Until unless you have created foundation, it is very difficult for you to proceed. Now, beyond that, there are certain textbooks which can be added in your clarity of the concept. Like, I should not miss out referring Physical Geography by Savindra Singh. It is basically considered to be the consolidated version of all the standard textbooks of physical geography. A good textbook, good coverage of the syllabus of physical geography, all the 4 sections: geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography and environment geography. There is a separate textbook on environment geography by Savindra Singh also. And now the publication has introduced the different textbooks as oceanography, etc. also. So you can take reference of either a consolidated part or a separate part. Separate part like geomorphology gives you chapters like slope analysis, which is not there in physical geography. So yes, there are textbooks which keeps on counting in. But you know what you need to do is that whenever you are preparing, you need to actually sit and decide on, this is the material, this is the notes with which I am studying with my NCRTs as my base and Rupa Made Simple as my base. Will I be in the position of answering all the asked questions to it? There can be certain topics where it is yes, done, 100%. There can be certain topics where it will be no, I am still not very clear with the content. That is where you add these standard textbooks. And these textbooks surely helps you in comprehending the requirement of the content. I hope I have successfully given you the gist of how to proceed with your preparations. You need to be very poised and calm in these difficult times. Always believe in your potentialities, and the point that you make, the decisions that you are taking, you need to be cautious towards it. Don't get towards anything that is called carried away. Be judicial in your approach of planning, because all of us are very different individuals. All of us view the things differently. You just need to be cautious with utilizing the available time much more intelligently, so that I am making maximum out of the available possibilities in front of me. I wish all the very best to all of you. Hope all your cherished dreams come true this year. Just try to be very poised and confident. Don't get mired with the range of available choices that are there with you. What works for me may not work for the other person, has to be taken very cautiously. All the very best to all of you, and happy learning.